And this is going to determine the choice, the methodology of how you collect your data, right? So you can either use data that already exists, whether that's in an archive or on the internet or from the LMS, right? So that would be secondary data. If you're going to collect the data yourself, then that's primary data. So are you going to use an interview or a focus group? Those would be the qualitative type of data collection. If you are doing an experiment, then you're going to have to set up the control group versus the experimental group relative to the variable that you want to test. And so these are the different types of statistical analysis. And I won't go into details in any of them because this is what we will be covering in the live classes, right? But when it comes to statistics, there are two main groups, the descriptive statistic and the inferential statistic, right? And so when we think about the process, remember, this is identifying the problem, deciding on your research question, choosing the design and the methodology, whether it's a quantitative or a qualitative, what kind of question are you asking, and will you use historical data or secondary data, or are you going to collect the data yourself? And so then you can determine what analysis is appropriate for the data that you've collected. So you can determine what is the methodology and how you're going to collect the data. And then you can decide, is it going to be qualitative or quantitative in the primary data? Or are you going to use secondary data? And again, even among the secondary data, there is qualitative with respect to sentiment and analysis. And then there's quantitative. You can do a meta-analysis or a data mining type of analysis. And that's going to then determine what type of test you're going to do here. Which one of these formulas, these principles, these mathematical statistical principles will you apply? Are you going to do a more of an exploratory, descriptive type of analysis, or are you going to actually test some of the relationships between the variable? Will you be trying to diagnose a problem, or are you trying to make some recommendations about a problem?